I'm talking with Aajonus Planets again, and I recently saw on YouTube a segment from the TV show called Doctors. And on that show, basically what they were saying, they interviewed you, but they kept saying that basically eating raw meat is dangerous. Is it?
No. If it were, I'd be dead. And the probably 100 million people all over the planet that eat raw meat every day is in the form of kibbeh, steak tartare, sushi. The people eat raw meat all over the world, in every culture. In Africa, it's predominant in the Samburu and Fulani and Maasai tribes. So how it's toxic is their imagination. You have to understand that they believe in the bacteria theory. And I'm not saying that bacteria doesn't exist. I'm saying the bacteria is not the cause of disease. The bacteria theory says that bacteria causes disease. Bacteria doesn't cause disease because all bacteria does is eat. It's like we eat to survive, they eat to survive. So what are they feeding on? If you're eating good, healthy, raw food, your bacteria is going to be as natural as it's been for millions of years, millions and millions of years. It's going to be correct. There's not going to be toxic substances unless you've eaten a poison mushroom or a toxic berry or something like that, where you're going to get sick from your food. But when you eat a food that's been cooked or pasteurized, there's up to 32 known toxins that form from eating cooked food. 2 or 3 of them that are actually called carcinogenic are heterocyclic-amines, lipid peroxides, and acrylamides. All of them are known carcinogens, and that's what developed from eating cooked foods. So what happens when your digestive bacteria breaks those toxins down? They form multiple toxins on top of those that you form. So you have a toxicology problem or a toxic problem with cooked foods, not raw. So you have to understand that doctors should not even open their mouths about diet and nutrition because they don't know anything except maybe a tiny bit. They have no education in nutrition, and if it is, it's not really nutrition and it's not dietary. They learn vitamins and proteins, and they love chemistry structure. They don't learn diet and nutrition. So they really shouldn't open their mouths except to say, I don't know. But here on the doctor show, you had 4, I don't know where they get these gorgeous doctors, but these are all good-looking doctors. And they'll hook you into believing the nonsense. And all they should say is, I don't know. I don't know, because that's all they know. They know drugs. They know disease. They don't know from where it originates, because they blame it on bacteria mostly, because of the disease theory. But it isn't that. It's chemical, industrial chemicals. Cooking your food, like I said, causes 32 known toxins. Okay, that's toxic. You don't have those when the food's raw. So they're miseducated, and the pharmaceutical industry dictates what doctors believe and learn. So it's the pharmaceuticals industry that's the main monster bad guy here. And all these brilliant minds who become doctors are duped. And they believe it, and it's so sad. Because, you have doctors believing inane stuff. And stuff that doesn't help people. I mean, how can you have a doctor say that raw meat and raw dairy are bad when we've been eating them for, we know, thousands of years? And yet these chemicals that come in the drugs, that they're always giving chemicals, they don't give food. They don't give a dietary program except for a few of them. They think they know something. But they give drugs. And that's what they're trained to do, give drugs, chemicals. How can a chemical that the body does not know or has not lived with for millions of years know truly what to do with it? And we know that they're all side effects. Every drug has a side effect. There's no exception. All drugs have side effects. And you hear the ads on TV, oh, this will make you, fertile and you'll be virile and happy and healthy. But if you get a liver disease, if you get a blood disease, if you get swollen ankles, if your balls fall off or your teeth fall out, go see your doctor. Why would you have to put an ad like that on about the toxic effects, side effects that often happen on a drug if it's good? And they worry about a little vomit or diarrhea from a raw food, which rarely happens. There are 12% more cases of vomit and diarrhea on cooked food diets than my diet. Very rarely does somebody have vomit and diarrhea. It's down by 12% on the primal diet. So you have to look at what those beautiful, good-looking doctors say with a grain of salt.
Okay. I do have one question. Because you just said that bacteria are not the cause of disease. And I've been taught that since I was 3 years old. I mean, don't touch this, don't put that in your mouth. And that's what we're taught. How do you know it's not? I mean, am I going to just take your word for it?
No, I will tell you how. Okay, I worked with predominantly sick people, or I used to work with predominantly sick people. Now I work with a lot of people who want to be top sports people, who want to be the best of everything, or just want to be good looking. And this is a good looking diet if you do it for looks. I don't do it for looks, I do it for health. I ask people to get fat because fats bind with poisons and make you strong and protect you. So I like people being fat if they're sick. If you're a healthy person, just be good and stocky and have enough fat on your system to protect your body. So I have had a lot of very diseased people, even up into their 90s. I had one person that was 97 years old that came to me very, very, very sick. Put them on these raw meats, raw dairy, get well right away. These people are in the high-risk category, so-called high-risk category. If they eat these foods, they'll get some bacterial food poisoning that'll kill them. The only food that can be poisonous is food where the bacteria is eating toxic substances. Then they release all those toxic substances and make more compound toxic substances. If those accumulate in a body, they will have a reaction. They will have diet or vomit or diarrhea. If the body keeps collecting those, they'll have some disease. And we have 2,300 diseases, and it depends upon where the body stores those toxins and how it stores them, which depends upon what disease they develop from those toxins. But it's not the bacteria's fault, it's what you fed them. And that's industrialized chemicals, industrialized food, processed food. Some people can handle it okay, live shorter lives, and maybe die quickly, very abruptly of a heart attack or an aneurysm or whatever. But most people are getting diseases. When I was 10 years old, there was 1 in 1,000 people who died of cancer. Now, according to major doctors, elderly doctors who've been around for a while, they say that 1 in 2 men get cancer and 1 in 3 women. From 1 in 1,000, 60 years ago? I mean, that's pretty bad. We're not going on a better track. Medicine isn't making us less disease. And here I am and all those other people are who are very sick, ate those so-called dangerous raw foods. Here we are, alive and thriving. I start my 67th year next week. And I was supposed to be dead at 21. So you can't get me to believe in the bacteria theory. I've eaten rotten meat up to a year and 3 months old. I've eaten rotten dairy. I've eaten rotten all kinds of food that's raw. Never have had diarrhea or vomit from it. And boy, when I was on cooked foods, I had lots of constipation and vomit.
Wow. Okay. Well, thanks, Aajonus.
You're very welcome.
Did you say that last? What? I lost kind of the thread. When you were on raw food, you had lots of constipation and vomit?
No, before I went on raw food.
Yeah, well, you didn't say that right. So
okay.
Take it from there then.
Right. While I was on cooked food, I had constipation. Maybe I would, let's let you get forward like you were. Mm-hmm. Okay. When I was on cooked food, I suffered vomit a lot, and I constantly constipation. I was going once every 1 to 5 days, and I bled every time I had a bowel movement. When I started raw food, even with lots of dairy and cheeses, I had a bowel movement every day, no problem.
Wow.
So you can't get me to believe, after my experience with thousands of sickly people who were in the high risk for bacterial contamination, not get sick and get well. It does not prove the bacteria theory, it disproves it.
I see. Okay. Well, thank you, Aajonus.
You're very welcome.
Okay.